Hello tutors, in this video I will be showing you some basic features of the virtual classroom. So right now I am in the virtual classroom with my two students, Jose and Joshua, and they have green icons while I have a blue icon. Students are always green and tutors are always blue. Now I can make sure that I have mic control up at the top here, and I also have writing control. But Jose does not have mic or writing control, so I need to give those to him right away. Now when I look at Joshua's icon, he is actually in the main room. I need to move him to Joshua's room so that he can get ready for tutoring. So I'll go ahead and move Joshua to Joshua's room. And now I can go ahead and check to make sure that Joshua is in Joshua's room. When I start tutoring Jose, I can use any of the icons here on the left side to help me with my tutoring. So as I'm explaining concepts, I can use the pointer to point out certain things on the screen, and I can also use the writing tool to write down any extra information. So for example, the sum of these two angles is 126 degrees, and I can go ahead and write that down, and I can use the big X button here to delete large pieces of writing. Now once I get Jose understanding all of these concepts, I can go ahead and assign him some of the problem slides. So right now, this is slide number 6. He can do slides 6 through 10 and try out these problems for himself. And I want to make sure that he knows how to move the slides or move to the next slide by clicking on these arrow buttons right here. So make sure you teach your student how to move to the next slide. So once I've assigned Jose some problems, I can go ahead and move to Joshua's room and get Joshua set up. So I'm going to give Joshua mic control and writing control, and I'll go ahead and start tutoring him in circles. Now, as I'm explaining some concepts about circles, Jose might have a question, so he will raise his hand. And you can see here, Jose has raised his hand, so I can go ahead and scroll over this hand icon, and I can acknowledge Jose's hand raised. Now, I can also type to Jose or chat with Jose by clicking on Jose in the chat box. So I can tell Jose, hey Jose, I will be there in 2 minutes. So just let your student know that you haven't forgotten about him and that you'll be with him soon. So let me go ahead back to Joshua, and once Joshua has understood these circle concepts, I can go ahead and assign him some problems. So at the moment, Joshua, he can work on these level 1 problems down here. Anything with a 1 shaded box, that's a level 1 problem, but with 2 shaded boxes, you've got a level 2 problem. So Joshua is a more advanced student, so therefore I will go ahead and assign him some level 2 problems, and I'll go ahead and ask him to do problems 19 through 23, and he can go ahead and work on those. So let me go ahead and go back and check on Jose, and I can make sure that the questions that he answered are correct. Now there are 2 other features I'd like to mention. This X box, this orange X box at the top of the screen here, if you click on this in the middle of a session, it will kick you out and it will kick the students out. So you definitely don't want to click on this in the middle of a session. If you need to leave the virtual classroom at any time, you can go ahead and click on the X box at the top of your window, and that will allow you to leave while your students will remain in the session. The next thing is this clock at the bottom here. This indicates the elapsed time in the session, and if you click on the clock icon, you can actually extend the session time. So usually I like to extend by at least 15 minutes to make sure that, that the students will not get kicked out right at the end of their session. So these are some of the basic features of the virtual classroom that you can take advantage of while you're tutoring.